Well, joining me now is Dr. Rupa Huq, the Labour MP for Ealing Central and Acton. Morning to you.
Hi there.
Appreciate your time this morning. Thank you. Let me ask you firstly then, do you believe the government's justified in shifting the whole of London into the toughest tier rather than just parts facing higher COVID infection rates? What's been your reaction?
I guess it was inevitable, really, given the way that infection rates and deaths are rising in every borough of London. And just the way that our city works is it's a very interconnected place. It's got an amazing public transport network. People don't work in the same place they live. Things like hospitals, you often have to go outside your immediate area. So I think it does make sense that London moves together as one on this, even if there's some unevenness within the boroughs of infection rates.
And the new rules, of course, though, mean yet another big trading blow, don't they, to thousands of venues, hospitality settings who will have just, they've shut their doors, opened them, and now they have to shut again after just a couple of weeks. What have your constituency local businesses been telling you so far about the impact of these changes?
It's a real kick in the teeth for them. To be honest, and they also don't like the way that they're always told to do everything at the last minute. I think the whole government approach looks very knee-jerk. Even the fact that we're going into Tier 3, the Labour Party was saying, well, not just the Labour Party, Sage was saying in September, had we had a 2-week short circuit breaker to coincide with half-term, then, we could have fixed test and trace. As it is, the last lockdown we had, I don't know what they did with it. If you have a lockdown, you should sort of achieve something within it. So, at the last minute, they tell restaurants, you've got to close your doors tomorrow midnight. And the way my father was actually in Indian restaurants, my late dad, so I know how these things work. They have to get supplies in, do staff rotas, laundry, all these things. They don't even know when they're going to reopen now. As it is, we're in Tier 2, which is pretty restricted. We heard all the controversies about the pubs that they had to, is a Scotch egg a substantial meal? So, that was massively limiting for them as it is. And with restaurants, you could only mix with people from your own family. So as it is, they're on their knees. Now they're having to completely shut at the drop of a hat. And it's tough times for them as it is. There are many restaurants, there are many national chains, people like Carluccio's, that in normal times, that would have been a news story in itself, that the majority of their branches are never coming back since the first lockdown. And then this, I think the government needs to properly compensate them.
Well, just on that, yesterday we were talking on the show to the head of UK hospitality. Now, she was calling for extra government funding now and reiterating the points you've just made, actually, that it's all incredibly last minute. People have to account for staff changes and revenue and ordering stuff and beer and so on. She certainly wants to see extra government funding to help get these businesses through the Christmas period. Presumably you'll support that.
Yeah, no, there needs to be some kind of properly worked out support package. And this government, we've seen, it has located the magic money tree. They've showered money on their mates, their crony friends. Like Dido Harding seems to get every job going. She's going to be head of the new Public Health England thing. She has made a mess of test and trace. So they can find money for people when they want to. They need to do, it wouldn't be too complicated to do one based on normal takings, so that these businesses are still there, the other side of this. Because, as I say, loads of shuttered up shops in our high streets mean that they're turning into ghost towns. Many of them will never be coming back. And it's through no fault of their own that there's a global pandemic. They are viable businesses. The government needs to support them.
Indeed.
Whereas I think it seems to think hospitality is just the easiest lever to pull. It's kind of non-essential, as they call it. So, they're low-hanging fruit. And we need them to support us in this time of need.
And yet the government clearly thinks it's doing the right thing in the movement of tiers. Dr. Rupa Huq, appreciate your time this morning. Always good to speak with you. Thank you. Labour MP there for Ealing Central and Acton.